Hey sports fans, Rideshare Commando here. I think this is kind of overdue, but I'm going to give a few shout-outs. And I encourage you to share these with your friends, with your family, with your social media. Share this with everybody. The first one is to Highland Edelman. So, it was a great meeting. Unfortunately, she ended up leaving, the day of, because I sent an email to them. But that was the go-to liaison to Uber drivers. But apparently, she wasn't into sending emails before she left. Because I ended up sending 4. And on the 4th one, I even said, hey, have I done something to offend you? The first one was the day of, within 24 hours of the first meeting. The second one was 2 weeks after that to say, hey, I haven't heard from you. What's going on? The third one was a month after that. So Highland Edelman. And she did leave to pursue college, apparently. But I want to give that shout out. Another shout out is to Matt Height. This is a gentleman that I was talking to that seemed to genuinely care. Of course, that was one. How do I know this? Because I have his personal card and personal everything on here, and no reply whatsoever. And I am very courteous. In fact, if any of you wish to have me read you the emails that I sent them, I am more than happy to do so. So, next on the list, by the way, these are the guys that, hey, we care, we love you, all that good stuff. We'll make this work. That I was pitching about those ideas that involved 2 months of active time trying to find venues to help you guys make more tips. Start a program that will benefit you, as well as a program that will benefit veterans and so on. Oh yeah, Matthew Wald. So, there's this program called Drive Forward. It's a non-profit established by Uber in constant communication with Uber to represent you. Okay, that's a whole bunch of fluff. Okay, I'm not with the guy. Nothing productive from that. So, I mean, hats off to you. He's their only full-time employee for that nonprofit, supposed to represent drivers. And they work very much in cahoots with them. So there's that one for you. And then Nathan Hambley. Okay, he was actually pretty responsive, pretty decent. We had emails back and forth. Did they pick up the programs or even try to finish them or whatnot? No. It was cheerleading. Hey, we might eventually possibly explore this, kind of, maybe, sort of. And then not even a thanks for the 2 months effort. I mean, yeah. He is the Director of Communications for the Northwest region, and I don't know what kind of communications they're directing out there, but wow. I mean, talk about a PR nightmare. And unfortunately, they don't have any adequate PR people in there. I'm sure people have impressive resumes and know a few people to get their jobs, but I'm unimpressed. So I just want to give those shout-outs, because I think people should know about it. And I think people should be recognized for their contributions, lack of emails, returns, and so on and so forth, or for the, I guess you might say, falsity of having an Uber-established program that's in constant communication with Uber that is supposed to represent drivers. So I just want to throw those shout-outs out there and encourage you to forward those shout-outs and forward those names and so on, because I think while some people are protesting to hurt their pocketbooks, why not go for the individuals themselves? And if you know anybody in the Uber staff, if you know their names, and let's say you've been neglected, treated wrong, and so on, I would encourage you to make your own videos and shout them out. Because if they start running out of employees that will interact with people, then I think that's a win for us too. It's a process. It's going to take a little while. But somebody's got to fight the good fight, you know? Anyway, the lawsuits are still moving, and they are currently being scripted up for the actual arguments. The initial complaints are being drafted by the lawyers. So, the class action against Lyft, that is moving forward. If you want to sign up for it, lyftclassaction@gmail.com. Okay, just send your email, your phone number, and why you were deactivated wrongfully, like based on a consumer false report. Because that's all we're going after right now. Getting some people that were wrongfully deactivated back driving so that they can make their money. I've told you, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. And the Uber lawsuit, I'm doing that individually for now. We may be, where do I drive? I was driving in Seattle. And honestly, I've stopped driving lately because I do much better overall with video game testing, which is what I'm doing now. And I'm going to start a vlog. Basically a thing on what it's like to actually be a video game tester. But I've been supremely happy with this. You have no idea. Like, not driving the people of Walmart every day, God, it's refreshing. You have no idea. Try it out. But some of you still need to make your income, and don't get me wrong, Uber and Lyft, they did help me make ends meet at the end. The market in Seattle, it's got peak times and low times. I mean, you can average 25 an hour. So I appreciate you asking that question. They just asked, what's it like driving in Seattle compared to New Jersey? You're going to get more consistent rides less downtime in New Jersey just because of the density and the population and the arrangement of the streets. In Seattle, you're going to get a whole crap ton of small rides, and then you're going to get some big rides. And the big rides are where the money's at. Especially with the surging and the boosts and all that good stuff. They do add up. But anyway, going back, the Uber lawsuits, we may be turning that into a class action, but class actions don't pay. What I'm out there for in that one is the PR value. To be able to basically show, okay, we went after Uber and we got that done. 2 hours to make $92. That's not bad. That's actually better than the average. So if you're doing 2 hours and you're making $92, I would say stick with what you're doing. I mean, I've got a couple of videos on strategies and whatnot, but stick with what you're doing. Because that's better than most. 25 an hour is the average, and that's the average in the Northwest. When you go towards central states and when you start going towards the East Coast, up until you reach the main cities, you're doing 20 an hour. And then when you take out depreciation, taxes, and all of that good stuff, the end of the year, you're going to be walking away with about $11 an hour each. Like $11 an hour for the Midwest. So it's not the greatest in the world, but I mean, if you're struggling and you need to have something hold you through that allows you to go to these different, honey, you better let me in. Don't even try that with your freaking little Hyundai. Rounded to 35 an hour, that would be accurate. I would even state that for your city making 92 in 2 hours, I would even round it down to about 30. Because you got to take in vehicle depreciation, maintenance, gas costs, and so on and so forth. You got to evaluate all of the costs. Because at the end of the year, if you don't pay your taxes, that's going to get ripped from you. And you can't deduct everything from your taxes. Which is an unfortunate fact. Plus, you got people like Harry Campbell, from the rideshare guy. He brought in this one lady. Hold on. Bonus Vegas, good. Okay. So in Vegas, that's going to be a place where people are getting drunk and tipping. But let me go back to Harry Campbell before I jump into what you just wrote. So with Harry Campbell, he brought in a Asian lady who is a CPA. And she gave bad advice. I was on the live chat with them, shooting out questions and whatnot. Some of them were ignored because you can't answer questions that point out your faults without showing your faults. But no, the advice there was absolutely horrid. And if you guys ever want me to talk about what can and cannot, I'm not a certified CPA. I just know the tax law, and I've represented CPAs. Okay, I work on the back end. I'm a generalist. So I know a lot of different fields in great depth. Comes with being autistic and having a really high IQ. But, I mean, that's neither here nor there. I mean, I know plenty of people with high IQs that are just dumb as a bucket of rocks. Some days I qualify for that too. So, notice New York City barely surges. That's because it is structured to not surge in New York City. And that's one, oversaturation of drivers. Two, different methods for mitigating the surges of New York City. Okay, larger cities, you're going to see different tactics done to mitigate surges by dispersing the driver population. Putting them in places where, for example, you have guaranteed hourly rates for certain places, or guaranteed surges. Well, when you go to those places, there are fewer rides, but it does disperse the population of drivers and prevents surges from forming in certain areas at certain times. And there's other strategies for it too. I mean, it all goes back to telemetry. Okay, yesterday... Yeah, I believe that for St. Patrick's Day, he's... hold on, Christian said that it's not surging over there. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, sometimes on St. Patty's Day, you're going to have a whole crap ton of drivers out there, like everybody and their mom, because it's St. Patty's Day, you know? And then the morning after, that's when you got the walk of shamers, you got the, oh, I'm too drunk and I stayed at my friend's house. Where am I? And you have the people who woke up next to somebody they don't recognize because they just got blackout drunk. Okay, that happens, and that's why you're going to have that surge. Plus, it's a Sunday, and everybody wants to repent for the sins they did the night before. Okay, that's just America for you. But yeah, the lawsuits are going forward. Don't trust CPA advice from most Uber and Lyft advice givers because they're so completely wrong. Like, how can you not say, oh, you can't claim car washes, but you can air fresh? No, they are both part of your product value. All right, get off your high horse and try reading something. God forbid you ever drive. So, if you guys, start leaving comments saying, hey, tell us what we can claim and what we can't. April 15th is coming around the corner. I don't mind doing that for you. Just know that I'm not a certified CPA. I'm just apparently smarter than a lot of them. Which is a real damn shame because a lot of CPAs and a lot of financial advisors, like for example, my brother was a financial advisor for 15 years. All they do is sell stuff. All they do is sell stuff and they think. Like, you ever walked into a place and said, hey, do I go over here or do I go over there? I think. Anything that starts with, any bit of advice that starts with, I think, don't trust it. And Christian, I didn't get a chance to read that last one before it dipped out. That's why my hand lifted up and tapped the phone. I missed your last comment. Just put a period so I can reread it, because they do show up above each other. But end all be all, we are working to benefit drivers. We are working to get several Lyft drivers activated, the ones that are that have forwarded their information to the email address for the Lyft class action. I mean, even if we settled before any class action takes place, which makes a lot of sense PR-wise, we are going to demand that those drivers get reactivated. Because lack of due diligence is not a reason that some random podunk, whatever the hell, overprivileged silver spoon, I don't care who they are, lying about you guys to get you kicked off the platform. Hell no. I'm not okay with that. There's a reason we still fight in the background even though you're not watching. And there's a reason that with all of these different lawsuits out there, class actions, all of that, they aren't fighting for the general populace. They aren't fighting to change policy. They're fighting for the individuals that feel wronged, that just want to walk away with an easy paycheck. I'm not that guy. So I want you guys to stay safe, and I want you to keep doing what you're doing.